Dun, dun, dun.
Meeting is now streaming live on custom live streaming service, is what it says.
The custom live streaming service.
That's what it
Is
says.
that Zoom?
It is. And we are live, everybody. I am Melissa Cady with my co-host, Dr. Kevin Cuccaro, on the Change Physician, our Facebook live feed here. If you're seeing me on Challenge Doctor, it's because I'm cross-posting from that. If you don't know about the Change Physician, you can go to thechangephysician.com and sign up there to be part of the community, whether you're a physician or not. If you want to consider yourself an ally, you can be part of the community and hear about what is up and coming with the Change Physician. And today is our typical Monday motivations. And since I said we're going to let you know what's up and coming, we might as well just tell you what's been happening with our most recent podcast. Do you want to tap into that, Kevin, or you want me to start it off?
You can start off because I'm still trying to share it all over the place.
Good. So as of on February 11th and on Valentine's, February 14th, we had Paul Thomas, Dr. Paul Thomas from Michigan, who has Plum Health DPC, which is a direct primary care practice, which is phenomenal. It's not what you think from a concierge standpoint. It's not the expensive concierge kind of medicine you'd think of. It is like an affordable concierge medicine as far as I'm concerned. And in that first episode, he goes on to talk about his journey starting out directly after graduating as a resident, which is just phenomenal. He had that intention, but also doing it in an underserved area in Michigan. And that is, you have to just give him kudos for what he was doing there. And then
I gotta interrupt you there
go
because
ahead.
that is such an awesome episode. Like, and I know you're gonna about the second one, but for anybody who's watching this is, so many of us went into medicine because we want to help people, and obviously you want to pay your debt and all this other stuff. And so over the course of time, sometimes we get lost in there. But Paul's dedication to what he went into medicine for, and then taking those steps to craft that practice environment. Awesome. Like I so many props for that guy, that he's taking control of his life, taking control of his practice and business, practicing medicine in a way that's really, really impacting his patients and doing it in an underserved population. So many people say, well, but there's nothing that can be done. And he's out doing it. So I totally recommend those episodes.
Oh, I just tagged Plum Health DPC so that they know we're talking about them. And also you can click.
Ears aren't burning.
Yeah. And you can click on there and find out more about it. And literally he goes into the second episode and how you can pretty much just like start it up yourself as a graduating resident. So anyone that's up and coming graduating resident or just finished or wants to really get involved with direct primary care, wants to do medicine in a way that actually makes them very happy. I mean, that's another part. Like overall wellness of these physicians is just unbelievable. And he talks about even how like it's hard for people to fathom. I think it's hard for people to wrap their mind around the fact that this is extraordinarily affordable. Like I think it's like $50 a month. I mean, you don't understand. You have direct access. You want to say something, Kevin?
Scaling. It's scaling, but his was very affordable. Like
Yeah.
I think the average was about $50 a month.
Yeah. So, I mean, it's still like within the palm of your hand that most people can afford. And when you start comparing it to the astronomical high deductible plans out there, on top of not only do you have to meet that deductible, but then you have the copays or you have co-insurance, and then maybe you maxed out your benefit and you got more money to pay. Like it's just phenomenal, the ability to create an affordable medical experience. And when he talks about medications and how it's just literally pennies to dollars, not like tens and hundreds and thousands of dollars for a lot of these medications they have access to that can be directly dispensed at their place. You don't have to go somewhere else, or labs drawn right there. I mean, the convenience, we don't get paid to talk about it like with this much enthusiasm, but I will tell you, if he was in my city, I'd be knocking on his door. he's or at least referring people, whatever. I think it's just an amazing, just not only an entrepreneurial pursuit, but something so beneficial to our society, community, and the grassroots effort to change and radically transform primary care in America.
Yeah, no, I concur, and we're obviously huge fans of direct primary care on this particular podcast because we had Paul, we had Josh Umbar, who sort of like the godfather, and really went into the financial details in those old episodes. And then Peter Lehman, who so we're covering like almost the spectrum of the United States, because we have Seattle, we have the Midwest. I can't remember where Josh is. He's in the Midwest somewhere.
Yeah.
And then Paul, all different practices, all doing amazing things. And, and particularly for primary care, which is under such stress, like all these primary care docs, oh, my life sucks, and in these traditional practices. And I totally agree with them, because they're completely undervalued and is total crap. But on the flip side, there are very few specialties can go out and do what they do, to actually practice medicine how most of us wanted to practice medicine, and really help people and make a difference and have that kind of practice environment, which is it's just amazing. It truly is amazing what can be done with that. So
Yeah.
huge fans. And I was going to say something else there is I don't think we're the only podcasters that think about direct primary care, because Eric Larson for the Paradox podcast, I know he's had a lot of episodes on this. So it's apparently us who are from the specialties see these people doing direct primary care, and we're all these massive fans about it. And anyway, I just remember him talking about it as well. I think
I'm actually trying to see if I can find him to put in our little feed. Maybe he can jump in and say something, but I can't find him on my page.
He's had a ton of direct primary care physicians on his podcast, if I'm remembering correctly. And that's another great podcast guys, is the Paradox podcast. Eric Larson, a lot of different thinking skills in really addressing specific problems that are coming up over and over again in health and healthcare, and some good insights there.
Yeah, most definitely. I was trying to put a tag on the Paradox podcast, but maybe you can find it. And as far as what's coming up this next week, we might as well tap into that. And our next episode that would be releasing this Thursday, Dr. Ripal Patel. Dr. Rip Patel, he's an ER physician who has done locums, but's created his own business called, I think, Mercision, where he kind of contracts with select groups. His story, he goes in more detail. I don't want to misquote anything. But he's just a joy to talk to out of Houston, and really has kind of taken a different approach to how he does, his own work within the ER. And we did have him on back in episode 55, because he had experienced COVID himself, and then was, obviously providing care for those with COVID. So that's a really unique perspective from a physician that also became a patient. So feel free to go back to that. But his initial story, when we first were able to talk to him, is in episode 69. The reason we put his other story about COVID earlier is because it was so appropriate for the time. But that one definitely see, and the one coming up this Monday, actually will be Dr. Brad Block, who has been with us before. This is a returning guest. He's an ENT physician, and we discuss soft skills. Specifically, we're using kind of the context of encouraging COVID vaccination and some of his perspectives on that, and some of the challenges he's experienced, and why soft skills are an important skill set to have whenever you're approaching some challenging topics such as COVID vaccines.
That was a fun one. It's fun to talk to Brad too. We get to talk to the most cool people, and Rip and Brad, because Rip is another guy. So you think, okay, here's an emergency physician, and so often they feel kind of trapped in these these practice environments, and he was doing locums, and then kind of expanded that and started doing direct contracting with hospitals or whatever. And another person who has this mission, who is trying to deliver care to everyone. So a lot of equity focus on there, and doing amazing things. Like it's just been fun talking to our guests. They're just amazing people. It's just so cool to talk to them. But that's another good show. And then and Rip will be back on actually with a future episode. So that'll be kind of fun too.
Yeah, and I just added Dr. Bradley Block's, or Dr. Brad Block's, his podcast or his site.
Physician's Guide to Doctoring. Yeah.
Yeah. So I'm going to go ahead and So, for some reason this auto trying to give someone else's name. We're just not gonna go there. All right. I don't know why it won't let me just do it without putting. That's okay. We're just gonna get rid of that, and we're just sending you the link, and you can figure out that Physician's Guide to Doctoring is Dr. Brad Block.
Yeah.
But back to our Monday motivations. What is our how did everything go last week from your desire to take it up a notch with your workouts?
It's still going well. I just love it. Yeah, it's still 2 exercises, and it's still training, but I went up a weight, and like yeah, I just really enjoy it. I just like the focus on training rather than working out to do something that's intense and yet leaves you with energy at the end of it. It's very functional. It's kind of interesting. Yeah, I don't know. I'm very motivated to continue. Let's just say that I've been really, really enjoying it. Really enjoying these crazy kettlebell things. Like,
yeah,
man, they're
just pick it up and go.
You pick it up and go. Yeah. Well, I watch a lot of videos to make sure, am I doing this? Am I doing this correct? But
yeah,
it's fun. It's quite enjoyable. So I've been motivated, and I will continue to be motivated. I guess it's really boring though for Monday motivations, because I keep just saying the same thing over and over and over again.
That's okay. I'll help change it up for you.
All right. What's yours this week?
Well, from last week, I said I was going to take it up a notch because I actually didn't have the post-vaccine doldrums like I did the week before. But I actually threw my little, over the door pull-up bar thing. I like things that are quick, easy. I just jump on it. I don't have to I think that's why I love really warm weather. I can just run outside. I don't have to put on 5 layers of clothing, which we will get to what's going on here in Texas here in a second. But I just did a pull-up bar, and I would do 3 rounds of 3 or 4 exercises, some abs and some, I love just grabbing some dumbbells that are adjustable, and I just go into a squat, or actually deadlift. So straight legs, slightly bent sometimes, and just bring it all the way down. So it gets a stretch and a strengthening at the same time. So I like the combination of where I'm standing, take the dumbbells in my hand, I let them drop towards my feet, come back up, and then I do a bicep curl and then an overhead press. And then so I'm getting the strengthening, but yet the stretching in I tend to get tight hamstrings, and the back portion of my body I tend to get more tight, probably because I'm also sitting a lot for long periods of time, although I try to change that when I'm in the operating room. It's that same position all the time gets a little bit annoying to my own body, but so I change it up. But that's why I like to do a lot of these lengthening and strengthening kind of combos, but it also gets my heart rate up. So I'm doing a lot of change in my height. So that, and then I go up and do some pull-ups, and I can't, right now I'm working on the jump up and then slowly come down versus like pulling myself up, because I let myself get a little weaker over the last few months. So this is how I build myself back up. I kind of cheat on the hard part, and then I make it harder on the easy part so that I can do the hard part easier. Does that make sense?
It makes total sense. I completely understand what you're doing.
So that went really well. I was actually, my husband was even like, wow, you really worked out hard today. I was like huffing and puffing. But I don't have to huff and puff the whole time. I just have to intermittently get that in so I can just get the whole system going. So very happy with how that went. My next agenda, I guess this next week is, I think we're both focused on some physical fitness stuff, but for me, I think I'm gonna, if I can sustain that type of, I'm trying to, if I'm not working in the operating room that morning, I'm trying to get my workout knocked out like within the first 2 hours of waking up.
Mm-hmm. What time do you have to get up to go to the OR?
I wake up at 5:40.
Oh, okay.
So I'm out the door by 6. I don't take long in the morning.
Yeah.
But when I'm not working in the operating room, I tend to sleep in. So it's quite variable when I get up. But I just don't like to be during my whole wake day for most of the day towards the end and then feel like I have to work out.
Mm-hmm.
I like to energize. I'm more focused and intense, just cerebrally. I'm better after I get there's a lot of science behind that, but I definitely like to get the body moving so my mind works with more precision.
Yeah. Well, and that comes, I think we talked about real life fitness is just figuring out what works for you. And
Yeah.
historically for me, working out first thing in the morning has always worked better, despite the fact that I'm actually not doing that as much as I should be. Like, so 2 days a week, I'll get up really early because I have things I have to do. So I'm getting up at 5 and then, like this is okay, I have to get up and and I know for sure that I don't want to do it that evening. So it's like, get up at 5, you do your workout, do your thing, and you're done. And it just, yeah, I should do that every day. Maybe not necessarily at 5, but the first thing I should do is should just get out, get it done. Because when you talk about otherwise you're kind of like, oh, when am I going to do it? When am I going to do it? When am I going to do it? And the day drags on and all this stuff. Just knock it out. What's that called? Eating the toad or whatever.
Yeah, and I put it that's on my to-do list. I put W/O workout. That's what that means. And I don't go without. That usually means without. I can't go without my workout. But I'm compassionate enough for myself. I'm not gonna like beat myself up. But I will tell you, with the cold weather, being that has been a historic day yesterday for a snowy, intense winter storm, freezing episode in Austin, Texas, and across the entire state. No one down here knows how to really like drive in any of this stuff. We're not even equipped, I think, with the kind of things that most people in the northern states are equipped with. So the smartest thing for the state is to shut it down because people are going to, overutilize our, EMS and all these, we've had flipped over fire trucks and all kinds of people have falling over the highways, like literally have died, like their car flips over and it falls down to the ground. I know of 2.
Off the rails?
Like over, yes.
Holy crap.
Yeah. So this is like no joke. Like there's a slick sleet ice on it and black ice, and it's just like a lot of things. I'm not going to go into the other topic. If it's invisible, people don't believe it. Like you try to warn people.
They think they have a 4-wheel drive car or this big truck, and somehow that ignores the laws of physics.
Yeah, like people, just because you can't see it doesn't mean it doesn't exist. No, I'm not talking about COVID. This time I'm talking about black ice.
Black ice.
Oh my God. Anyway, stay off the roads, people. So my point is related back to working out. When it's cold, I don't feel like, getting ready to do a workout. So I get my little heater in one of the rooms and I just warm up that entire room. And then I feel really cozy and comfy. And then I start moving and then I get my workout in.
Oh, but then you're sweating a ton.
I don't care as long as I'm warm.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
I mean, it doesn't have to be like 90 degrees, but like I try to get like 75 degrees in the room, even though the rest of the house is cold. And then I'm motivated to exercise.
Once you have to thaw out, and then you can get motivated.
I don't know. It worked. I was like, well, what's stopping me? Well, I just don't feel like enticed to go work out when I feel cold.
And if it works, it works. So yeah, it makes
sense.
But
then I can go to the other room with the bike, even though it's colder there. Once I got my machine going, so to speak, because I started moving, then I feel warmer, of course. So you got to breed your own energy and heat. So there you go. What's your agenda for the next week? Same old thing?
Same as it's the same. It's so boring, but it's I'm really enjoying it. I guess I should add some more in here because my reading dropped off. So that was one of the goals this year, was to be reading consistently every day. And that has dropped off a little bit. And I need to return to it because I have to finish some of the books I have. And I just got another book that I want to get started. But
you're giving me all my ideas too. Like, I'm just going to listen to what your plans are and I'm just going to follow them.
Well, those are the only 2 this week is because reading is very important to me, and I just have not. I was doing it, and then I kind of fell off the tree again. I think I just get tired because reading for me, unless it's fiction is something that is not hard. Like, oh, I can read fiction and burn through it, but when I'm reading anything meaningful, I really, really, really enjoy it. Really, really love it, but it takes a lot of energy because usually I'll read like a page and then my brain makes 65 different connections and then I'm writing stuff down and sometimes I'm just like, okay, I'm just tired. I know where this is going to go. I'm just not going to do it, but I need to. So that's what, okay, I'm going to do it. I'm going to do my reading this week. So that's my Monday motivations.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I guess mine is stay warm, and hopefully that I won't have another power outage that I had. Thank goodness we can do this right now. And try to stay warm enough to feel like working out. I'm setting a low bar for myself, but compared to most Americans, I guess working out is not a priority or accomplished many times. Even though we all know we need to do it, at least you don't have to call it exercise. We just need to move a little bit more.
Well, you may want to go shovel the snow, because we were talking earlier about what your expectations are. Because what you do not want is that snow to melt and become ice all over your stuff, because then it's like impossible to get off your driveway.
Yeah.
So,
well, they closed the surgery center for tomorrow, so I don't have to go anywhere tomorrow. So that's
yeah,
good.
Yeah.
But we still have a few days of freezing. So yeah, at some point it'll be important.
Yeah, the big ice blocks. Yuck, yuck, yuck.
But, yeah. Well, we should anyone that wants to leave any advice for us Texans that have no idea how to deal with massive amounts of ice. And you know what, before we go, why don't I just show a picture of what it looked like. Let me pull up a good, let me, or at least here's my front view, and I will share the screen for a moment so you guys can see what I'm talking about. All right. So anyone that has experience with this kind of snow with ice underlying it, feel free to pass on your words of wisdom. So I'll stop my share now. There you go.
You got somebody who's living up in the, Midwest or whatever, like, what? There's nothing there.
Yeah, that's a lot of snow. Most time in Texas, it's there for a day, maybe a day and a half, and it's gone. But this is sticking around for a few days at least. So,
yeah.
You want to take us out, Kevin?
Sure. Well, hey, folks, thanks for joining us on The Changed Physician for Monday Motivations. If you have any sort of certain things that you are motivated to do, make sure you put them in the comments there. Otherwise, we will see you next Monday. And for physicians and physician allies, if you're interested in joining the community, go to thechangedphysician.com. And until next week, stay well, guys.
Bye.